Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid. Roles can be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So we do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play out as karmic themes, help you understand why your person's doing what they're doing. We're mirrors of whom what come into our life, and the universe brings us what we need. But when people that are really toxic come into our life, we're like, why would the universe think that we needed that person, right? Unfortunately, there's only two energies, love and fear, when we're looking at things from a spiritual perspective. And so we're made up of the energy of love because that's the energy of the universe, that's the energy of God. So when we have detached and disassociated from parts of ourselves, it's fragmented. It means that like we have fragmentation. And so that's parts again that we've rejected, but we're asleep to what they are, so we create these masks per se. And now, is it done consciously? Most of the time it's not done consciously, it's done subconsciously. However, things play out on the physical realm that's happening is as a reflection of what's happening on the spiritual realm. So it doesn't matter whether you're conscious or not, whether you remember, you don't remember. Doesn't matter whether it's really happening in the moment or it happened a long time ago. You're always you're the energy that you're the energy of what you are. So until you integrate the spiritual lesson, you can't change your energy. That's the problem. And so we keep getting the same types of karmic themes, and that's what solidifies that belief of whatever is transpiring. And so being connected to a karmic mate, someone that makes you feel not good enough, not worthy, not lovable, well, you had those energies inside of you beforehand. The universe brought you someone to bring those energies out to show you. So sometimes we're born into karmic families and our siblings show us, our parents can show us. And sometimes, again, we meet somebody, again, date somebody. Doesn't have to be date. It could be a friend. It could be a teacher. It could be anybody. And a person that comes in for a day, a season, or a lifetime. Usually the person that comes in for a season is the person that you got to watch out for. People that come in for a day, they're not coming in long enough to show you really much. I mean, you can have someone, but usually not. It's usually a person that comes in for a day is showing you like a small life lesson. Person that's coming in for a season is coming in for a little bit, and they're gonna most likely teach a lot of like lessons that you don't like to learn. And a person that's a lifetime person, well, they're also teaching you stuff a lot of times that you don't want to learn, but they're also teaching you stuff that you do want to learn. It's more of a soul family person opposed to like a past life karmic mate. Thing is, all these soul partners, there's recognition and it's felt, it's an internal knowing, it's connected to clear cognizance. So it makes it really confusing when you meet a person that there's this, instantaneous connection, but then they're doing all the things that are triggering. Then we're feeling a lot of different emotions, and then we don't really know what we're feeling. And so then what happens is when we don't know what we're feeling, we're not really able to get the divine guidance to deal with the person that's triggering us, the person that's awakening these, spiritual blockages within inside of us. So because we're, dealing with that original emotional charge that has been suppressed, and now this person's, like I said, is bringing that emotional up and is creating like even more intense emotions. So that's why we can't feel and get that information, that divine guidance. We can't get down to that meditative state, obviously, because the person has made us not grounded anymore. So, like I said, understanding what your blocks are allows you to change the entire dynamic of the connection. And really, that's all that a lot of the connections are. The universe doesn't care whether you choose to be with Tom or Bob or Kathy or Sue, doesn't matter. Just matters that you learn the spiritual lessons of unconditional love. And that would be forgiveness, it would be learning to let go, it would be learning how to go with the flow. You're learning all the spiritual lessons. But the spiritual lessons are, hopefully to bring you to the highest level of consciousness, which again are the energies that are derived from unconditional love. So you're supposed to be learning that there's no separation between you and your creator, you and God, really. That's why we go through these karmic experiences. We not really because we God likes to be entertained. It's more like again because we have to learn. That's why. All right, so the underlying energy is fantasizing, fantasizing. That's the underlying energy. So you're in separation from somebody that there's still a really strong ESP connection through the heart and mind. There's a telepathic connection. That's how we know that it's a spiritual connection. And by the way, any person that comes into your life, you can have this connection, but those past life karmic mates, we really have that connection as well as a twin flame. So a lot of times we confuse twin flame with a past life karmic mate, person that's fantasizing. Well, you have to pull a few more, but I'm already feeling stuff. And then I tell you, intuition, that's the ESP through the heart and mind. That tells us again that that intuitive connection means that you are like a soulmate. So this person is learning, and they're learning that they really shouldn't have acted the way that they did. And I say that because I got narcissist and doubt. So right now, I feel like this person fantasizes a lot about you. Sometimes it's sexual, sometimes it's about like what life would be in the future. And right now, I feel like the more the time that goes by, it's like fantasizing that, things aren't going to work out, that they're not going to work out because of how this person treated you. They kept the relationship in a place of imbalance for a long time, meaning I feel like they kept it suspended. And that's where they didn't close it out, but they kind of like tried to keep their foot in the door, but they didn't give you really enough to talk about and didn't treat you well. And the thing is, I don't think that this person even cared. They are realizing that they care because they're in a place of guilt now because again they were selfish. And they're thinking again that you're probably not going to be wanting to take them back because of betrayal. So even though there's a really strong ESP connection through the heart and mind, and this person still is very attracted to you, what they're seeing is, I don't think that, you know, that you're going to want to be in a connection with them anymore. Now let's see where, if we can go a little bit deeper spiritually. I want to see more than just like what they did. Because right now we know that they didn't treat you well. Don't know how they didn't treat you well. Don't know why they didn't. But we know that they didn't. But where they're feeling now is if they're doubting quite highly that you would take them back, it's like they miss you, and that's a thing. And there's a part of them that knows like you don't really want to like talk to them. You may still have feelings for them, but you can't. There's a part of them that knows who you are and knows that you're also prideful. You're also like a strong person, and this person didn't treat you right. And there's a part of them that's like, I know that you don't really want to be with me, but you're running away. But I know that you still have feelings for me, and I still have feelings from you. But every time the relationship got close, this person would run away. So it's almost like now you're running away. So that like they don't feel confident to even come to you, and then they're trying to understand how their thoughts create their reality, and there's a part of them that know that they created this reality. They're trying to stay positive now, but they don't really think that you are. They're like, are you? And what they know is like in a way that you're not, because you're running away from them now, because they can feel like your energy has like detached. I feel like they have tried to reach out a little bit. However, it was so small and you didn't even like respond. And the reason why, there are just subconscious fears affecting both your ability to attract love and abundance. So the universe is helping you make them conscious so that you can like make it easy to attract, including each other. So that's the thing. This is a past life karmic mate, like you said. So there is a lot of passion. This person does fantasize about you a lot. There is that ESP, but the subconscious blocks, and one of them is again the way that this person thinks is blocking them from their relationship with you. I feel like um, you may have other blockages too. This person may have other blockages as well, not just within relationship, because that's what this is insinuating. Like there could be financial blockages there, and that comes from when you were brought up in an environment that made you feel not worthy, not good enough. Kind of like how this person made you feel, you know? We incarnated together to clear specific uh, patterns from our ancestral bloodline. And didn't I say if you grew up in an environment where you were taught that there was something wrong with you, you're not good enough, you're not, also growing up watching your parents struggle financially, or if you grew up in a household where there was addiction, or whether there was infidelity issues. So the karmic family patterns, and ancestral patterns are really the habits and the behaviorism. So the way that we think, the way that we take care of ourselves, how we treat ourselves, how we treat other people, all that is karmic, because you get good results when you treat yourself good and you treat other people good, and you get bad results when you don't treat yourself good. So what Spirit is saying is, yes, this person is your person, even though you're like, they're not my person. They treated me like crap. We didn't see how they treated you, but I pulled narcissist. So I'm feeling like it was pretty much a one-sided connection. We'll pull to see what that person did, but my focus was mainly on where are we right now, you know? I've been so grounded all my life, it's hard for me to trust the spiritual elements of our connection, yet I can't deny that they exist. So this person is still, again, the way that they think. Like, I don't really trust love. I don't like believe in like magical relationships, love at first sight. I don't, but this person can't deny the ESP connection. That it's a divine connection. Doesn't mean it's perfect. Divine doesn't mean perfect. It means the divine chose this person for you, because you both, and you for them for you, because you both were born into ancestral karma that has created subconscious blocks that are preventing you from having the relationship actually work out, and whatever other spiritual issues that there are. So again, it's making it clear, like I said, this person is like, I can't deny that there's a connection, but they're still looking for proof. They're still looking for proof. Don't be tempted to disconnect from source, again, from God. It's like our connection to source is a love and a healing that we require. So understand, like, it's a divine connection. So when we disconnect from source, it usually means that we're going into lower energies, that it's like, well, I'm not going to listen to like that, that this is my person. I'm going to run around with other people that might be lower hanging fruit because it's easier, or, you know, not do anything at all and be stuck in my addictions is what is spirit saying. It's like trauma, again, because of the subconscious wounds, makes a person not feel good, obviously, because a lot of trauma is coming up, making this person look at themselves and they feel inadequate, they feel not good enough. All the things that, again, make us feel separate from God, which there is no separation. So spirit had to get involved. And so the spirit said, because their past lives are influencing the connection and they've already lost you in other past lives. And that makes them afraid that they need to allow the grief to allow the love to bloom. So this is really what it is. That again, past life karmic mate, and so had an opportunity in a past life to heal this connection, didn't heal the connection. So were both born into the same type of families, taught the same types of karmic lessons, met each other back in this lifetime, and this person like knows that they kind of screwed up the connection again, and that you want to disconnect from source and be like, I just actually don't want to, I know that this is my person, but I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with all the problems because they're a problem. And so understand that part of the disconnect would also be abandonment, that this person would feel abandonment if you left them and they already were born into a family that they had abandonment, where spirit's saying it's like if you disconnect from this person and you really care about them, then you're abandoning yourself. And if this is a divine connection, they came into your life also to heal, help you heal something that you may know that you need healing in, but you may be say, well, maybe I don't. And so Spirit says, no, everything is working out so to activate you to heal, to bring you closer together, like this time. That even though, so, this person is starting to realize that the connection is worth like treasuring because hey, they never experienced anything like it before. It can tend to be very overwhelming for them because again, they don't think this way. They've learned to live more from a survival perspective, which is what I know is what I believe, just the facts. And the thing is, love isn't that because it doesn't make sense a lot of times, you know? And especially if we were hurt, we don't want to just go back into a situation where we have to be vulnerable and transparent. And that's not, this person was a narcissist, you know? Or acted like one. I wish I could say what I really feel. Someday I will, but right now I don't feel safe enough to be themselves. So again, this brings out their inadequacy, makes them feel again, but they've never felt love like this before. And again, the depths of it can be inspiring, but very overwhelming, which I just said. So it's a twin flame connection. And the thing is, they can feel you pulling away, and it's triggering their fears that you're going to leave them for good. So, part of this is they already think that you're not interested. So, because of that, they're like, I don't even want to come towards you because I don't want to be rejected. But on the same token, they have a very deep connection. So, to you, and they really can't disconnect because we can never really disconnect from love. We don't have control over who we fall in love with, right? I mean, God knows there was many a person that died to be with the person that they wanted to be with. There's always love stories like Romeo and Juliet, and the list goes on, right? So there's always a reason, and where this person knows you're their person, and to lose a person that is your person is a huge thing too. But what are you supposed to do? Hold on forever because they're stuck in not believing that it could work out. They've watched you from change and grow so much. They're trying to release their attachment to their identity, again, their ego, so that they can change too. Right. It's again, the ego is just keeping them like preventing them from really having to be emotional, having to be transparent, having to like, you know, be real. It's like they're hiding behind that ego for a really long time, and where it's they put on a facade, I feel like, to act like they didn't care as much and to act like they were someone else. Is again, I feel our energy merging together as if it has a life of its own and we are becoming one again. So this person says, like, just is like, I just kind of feel like no matter how much time goes by and no much how much I foul up this connection, I can still feel your energy. Yeah, I feel like you're mad, but so this person is like they're unsure. Like even though I just said that they're like, I'm not coming towards you because I know that I already fouled it up, that is a belief of theirs. However, there's still that divine connection, that ESP through the heart and mind, that claircognizance, the spiritual connection that they're like, well, maybe I didn't screw it up. Because it's like I can still feel the connection. And if it's a divine connection, well, that's one that God has a hand in. And, God's always going to get what it wants. We know that it's sneaky that way because it wants you to heal. The subconscious blocks are preventing you from accessing your divine, essence, your supernatural power, that divinity inside of you. So, and it's showing up. And it's showing up as the bad relationship and whatever else. Because it's very rarely just the relationship. Usually the bank account doesn't look too good either. It's like, because there's a lack. It's like there's a disbelief of, who you are, what you're worth. So where really Spirit's saying, like, I talk to you through, everything that's happening in your life. And so, when things aren't looking too good, a lot of times we want to say, hey, it's you. But then, God's saying, no, it's you. It's like, and then you're like, oh, it's me. It's me. It's like, and so where it's becoming awakening, but it's triggering and it's scary, and you have to let go of the identity that you know, feel like is safe and step into your true identity so that you can attract, abundance, because you can't attract abundance if you're pretending to be someone that you're not. It doesn't work that way. I'll contact you when I'm able to. Right now, my life is too complicated to bring you in, but know that I do want to talk to you. Well, not uncommon too, that if a person has been living a facade, well, their life usually doesn't look that great. It usually looks like a roller coaster. Like they've self-sabotaged themselves, and then life, if they dig themselves out, they have a high moment, and then they get in their own way, and then they sabotage. That's how you know that there are subconscious blocks. It's like the person keeps getting in their own way. So it's like there's a belief that they can't have love. There's a belief that they can't have abundance. Again, the subconscious blocks are that, where God is saying, that's you. That's not the truth. That's what you were taught by your experiences, by the family that you grew up in, by the experiences that unfolded into your life. But you wouldn't be aware until you actually said, "Well, why does my life look like this?" Like it's like that when I always think of Scooby-Doo, when at the end when they're like, "Who did it?" and they take the bag off the person's head and it's, the bad guys are revealed. Only if you take the bag off, it's your head. It's you. You've seen yourself. It's like, oh, I'm the one that keeps sabotaging my life. And it's like, yeah, because there's a disbelief. And again, that disbelief was caused from trauma and experience. It was a perception. You're caught in a perception. But there's many different realities that play at one time. You get to choose. You're the alchemist of your life. Understand this person doesn't want to miss their chance. So it's going now to being like again, hey, they didn't care and now they're in this energy. But they have barriers to communicating. We know that it's again. So be careful about the type of relationship because it doesn't mean that they're healed. So when we ask what did they do, it's like they created a lot of drama. I feel like this person was a whirlwind. They came into your life and they love bombed you, they manipulated you, they made you feel all good. They sold you a mansion, and really what you got was like a trailer that had like no wheels, and like was like had no back door. You know what I mean? Like they sold you, it's something that was not. And so they did it by like love bombing you, becoming everything that you wanted them to become until they turned into who they truly are. And so like you never read between the lines, that they were always wild at heart. So they would say one thing and then do something completely different. And so it's like there were a lot of illusions. This person, like I said, was very surface. So they wouldn't let you get that deep. And it's just because they had a lot of love blockages from the past. And so, unfortunately, if we grow up in a family that we've inherited these subconscious blocks, well, then every relationship from there forward is going to play out as some sort of traumatic experience where there's betrayal, shame, victimization. I mean, these are heavy energies, and but it's ancestral karma is going to play out as uh, like self-hatred. It's going to play out as cancer. It's going to play out as addictions. It's going to play out as the real lower energies. And understand it's just because there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of a lot of times people inherited collective karma. So if you grew up during a time that it was acceptable to, you know, send your kid off to war, never tell your kid that you love them, never gave your kid the support, maybe, or you grew up in a depression, you grew up, whatever was happening in the environment, and whether you were black, whether you were white, whether you were Jewish, whether you were Christian, whether you were Muslim, like every single culture, religion. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out, but you're getting the drift. It's like we've all inherited family karma, but the family karma that's really heavy, that has those real deep-seated root chakra blockages, are the ones of, again, shame, betrayal, victimization, and what comes of that is self-hatred. And no one can walk around with those feelings for long periods of time, without, you know, checking out once in a while, purposely checking out, like through addiction, through escapism, because it doesn't feel good, because the divine inside of us knows. And it knows because when we're full of light and energy, that's what it feels like. We have a lot of energy, right? When we're full of light and chi, oxygen, right? Our blood and our cells are getting all the oxygen, because we're not full of stress. We again can go with the flow of life. Well, when we're in the passion for life. However, if we're in a place of victimization and believe that we don't deserve, then we get a lot of stress in our body, obviously, every time someone asks us to do something, every time we got to get into a relationship at any time, because confidence. Now, we're not confident in who we are again, then we're nervous, and that creates a lot of tension in the body, and then it's going to come out within habit. Like person that's nervous smokes a lot, may chew gum a lot, they may curse a lot, they may, have these energies that will tell you that they need healing. Now I'm saying I have a potty mouth, so again, trust me, it's but it's the way I grew up. It was the environment I grew up in, so it's habit, it's bad habit, where it's a real pain in the ass to change to change the way that you talk, because you have to be conscious. Where again, a lot of times we're not conscious. Have to be aware. This person again tried to get you swept away. Like again, it was more like a fling. That's what it felt like. And so they kept it on that. level because, again, they didn't want to go deep. And they didn't want to go deep because relationships don't work out for them. Relationships, again, their life looks like a roller coaster. They're actually in a down spiral right now by the way that things look because they said, I'll contact you when things aren't so chaotic. So they trauma and drama seem to, follow this person. So it's, again, they don't realize that they're the person that's bringing themselves with them. It's kind of like alcoholics behavior. So it wouldn't be uncommon to not see the addiction card, just because it's, but like when a person has like a lot of pain like that, when they have a lot of pain like that, it's you're gonna see you're gonna see that they have do everything that they can to escape. You know what I mean? Look at that addiction. So I knew it. I knew it because I'm like, this person like checks out and they check out because they feel bad about themselves. We're probably going to get insecure. We're going to get like a lot of energies here that are going to show you that they need healing. Again, they feel empty. Again, when there's no connection to God, to, a purpose, to, because we're not what we do. We're not the car that we drive. We're not the job that we have. We're not any of those things. We're here to be the expression of love, that there's no separation from us and the universe, no separation from us and our creator, that we have the power to manifest our life. If we can imagine it, we can create it, but we have to have a focus of, again, where a focus that keeps us focused, and the only thing that is a passion. Otherwise, then, like, we always feel empty. That's the problem. And then we try to fill that emptiness with things outside of ourselves, and that's the subconscious behavior too. It's the addictive behaviors, and it's because it doesn't feel good to feel like you're inadequate, to feel like there's something wrong with you, to feel, it's, again, that's energy. It's going to make you feel tired. It's going to make you feel lethargic. It's going to make you feel, you know, because it's heavy energy. It keeps you up in your head. You're not in your body. You're not creating. You're not saying, where are you going? What are you doing? You're more saying, oh God, I'm stuck in the past. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. Again, so what pays too much attention to the physical body, not enough to the emotional connection. And then on top of it, because there is not enough emotional connection and the focus is more on the physical body, then the person tends to, like, they have trust issues, but then they're the person that you can't really trust. So that's what we see. That where they are now, it's, again, there's addiction, but there was addiction. That's the issue, because they feel empty. They feel empty because there's nothing there. When you don't have a purpose, when you're not putting your energy towards something. You got to pour into something. This person has a lot of different addictions. We see eating disorder also. So, again, pushing the emotions down, because after a while, when we, suppress the emotions, those emotions become repressed. But understand, what's really covering that is a very addictive behavior. Again, escapism, because the person doesn't know how to fix it. They don't know what to do. So what you see is that they had a lot of spiritual blockages, and the thing is, you're in separation, you're not doing anything. They don't really know how to handle this. They lost you in a past life. So instead of them really fixing it, what they do is they go back into these toxic behaviorisms because they're afraid to be rejected. This person is only used to the karmic contract. So because you're not fighting them, you're not creating drama, you're not doing anything, they're like, they can't really read this. So I feel like, again, they're sitting in their inner child, that they need to heal that. There's a part of them that's, again, afraid to contact you, because you might criticize them. So really, again, when we ask what they're doing, they're really not doing anything, because they're stuck in stupid. And that's because of the fear. And the fear, again, is the fact that this person is like afraid of rejection. Their life isn't doing well. They, don't know why they create the life experiences that they create, but it's something that keeps playing out. And here it is, they were connected to you before. They realize that they now was supposed to be with you, but they doubt quite highly that you're going to want to be with them because they acted like a narcissist. They kept it on the surface because relationships, again, normally don't work out. And so now it's like they're afraid. They created a self-fulfilling prophecy, which is I don't think that is going to work out, but they're making that happen, and they're not really knowing how to fix it or what to do, and just kind of stuck in like stupid. That's what we see here. I mean, and I don't really see them doing anything aside from that. So what's going to happen is something in their environment will eventually happen, because when we can't stay stuck for long periods of time. I mean, we can try to stay stuck, but if our life is connected to other things and other people, well, guess what? That our environment begins to change us, to make us move. So, but as far as right now, this person is like not doing anything because of why I just said. And so we can say the best thing that we can do right now is really just say, why did you attract this person into your life? What are your subconscious blocks? you know, um, because once you integrate the spiritual lesson, you can see whether this person is really a twin flame or whether they were just a past life karmic mate. And past life karmic mate, you know, once you again learn the lesson, there really is no attraction to the person anymore. You don't see them that the same way. The whole point of like seeing them and being goo and crazy over them is like a lot is you're seeing their potential, you're associating this person with what you want them to be more than who they are. And so, once you see them for who they really are, if it's not a divine connection, you're not going to have a connection to them anymore. Like it's not going to be that ESP connection through the heart and mind is not going to be strong anymore, And so, you won't know until you actually integrate the spiritual lesson. The cord cannot be broken. The cord gets broken, like I said, that way. But if it's a real twin flame, you're like, yeah, like I can still see you for who you are, but guess what? I still have unconditional love for you, even though you did all that bad stuff. You betrayed me. And that's the whole point. Learning forgiveness. You're usually not going to get it, but you were born into karmic families that there was betrayal and there was addiction and there was other that the parents didn't treat themselves nice, they didn't treat each other nice, they didn't treat you nice. Well, then the lesson, unfortunately, with your karmic person that is a twin flame, you know, it's going to be harsh, past life karmic mate as well, meaning it hurts. And it's because, hey, that's been inside of you for a long time and you've inherited it. So it's not just inside of you, it's inside your ancestors. Like your ancestors are hoping that somebody heals it because they don't want to have to come back and relearn it all over again, right? Because that's what happens. We have to keep relearning those spiritual lessons over and over and over again. All right, so the first card out is anger. It's really rage, but the girl's pants are green. That's why you can't see that it's rage. Second card out is support. Let's see. Too many out, but helpful. Self-love, outdoors and nature, discipline, love, joy. 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like you grew up with a parent that was very angry all the time, someone that was very rageful. And, because of that, you didn't really feel supported. And when we don't feel supported as a child, we don't really feel loved, you know. And I get that because we also got self-love. So who teaches us how to love ourselves is our parents. But if our parents didn't treat themselves nice because they were stuck in their trauma, and so they wouldn't treat themselves nice because of addiction, because of how they eat, how they take care of themselves, where they choose to put their time, their energy, their focus, their money. Like what are they doing to change? What were they doing to change their life, to better their life? It's like self-love is when you do things to better your life, when you create your life, when you become the expression of love by doing what you love. That's how you're going to co-create with your creator. That's how your contribution to humanity. And so really this, but you aren't taught that because the support didn't love themselves. They were stuck in mad. They were stuck in mad because of how they were raised. Their parents weren't nice to them either. They were told that they wouldn't make it, that they wouldn't do anything. So again, robbed them of their joy. So there was a lack of groundedness. There was a lack of connection to the earth, to the world. And that meant there was a lack of discipline and be showing up for yourself. So they didn't show up for themselves. In so many words or less. And Spirit says that's why. And so then Spirit said this. Well, then we can see then you inherited that because if you were brought up by an angry parent that didn't give you love, then you were taught not to love yourself. And so if you were taught not to love yourself, then you might not have addiction problems, but maybe you didn't know what your career path was, or maybe you needed to refine that career path. Maybe you had to put more time or energy into it. That you were not 100% who you needed to be yet before you met this person. There was lacking, but if it's a twin flame, it doesn't mean that you have the same, like, you don't have the same blockages. However, you have the same traumas. And the same traumas could be, again, parent didn't love me, didn't teach me how to love. So I didn't put time and energy towards creating myself. And so lack of money, but the other person says, I created myself, even though my parents didn't love me. I just escaped through reading, through studying, through doing, through being very grounded, but I'm not very spiritual. So I'm not able to utilize and tap into those energies, those more feminine, divine feminine energies. So that would be being compassionate, being able to communicate, being able to have passion, but to be intuitive, you know, to be nurturing, to be forgiving, where this person might have a very divine masculine qualities, which is very structured, very methodical, but again, they're for shit when it comes to the spiritual energies. And Spirit says, and you're not so great when it comes to the masculine energies because uh, you never know what's in the bank account. You kind of wing it a lot. There's no structure. You're very intuitive, but you know it's not really that great to be intuitive when it comes to like certain things. You have to be able to utilize the logical, analytical mind. So understand, Spirit says it's a divine connection because this person would be the best person to heal. It didn't mean that they were going to be the best person that you were going to be able to, you know, get them to treat you the way that you wanted to be treated. Oh, you're going to have to teach them how to do that, Spirit says. Their connection that all I cared about was for you to help balance the mind, body, and spirit to integrate all facets of yourself because it was fragmentation that was preventing you from seeing your potential when really you have limitless potential. And there are infinite possibilities if you let go of the control. People, again, that didn't grow up with the support and self love, they're afraid. So there's a need to control instead of going with the flow of life by being in the passion for life. It's against where God says you can't control anything. It's like the universe is in control. What do you think? You're gonna fight the universe? Spirit says you can't. It's like it's about not trying to control your outer world, but controlling your inner world by integration first and foremost, Spirit says. And now to go on your soul's calling, listen to the whispers of your soul. Just make sure that you align your actions with your values. So then this way you won't attract people or situations of a lower energy, and understand the situation was all to help really you both. But whether you're with this person or not, again, the universe doesn't care, was to help you ascend life. So again, to help you let go of who you were in the past, to become who you are in the present moment. Again, then that was only going to be done by healing the spiritual blockages that made you feel unloved. And we leave off with one more message from the universe, and that is goodness. Refine your character and overcome difficulties by remaining positive. Calm your heart and illuminate your intellect to transform shadow into light. Consciously manifest goodness in and around you, and you improve the qualities of all, to benefit of all. And that's what I was saying, that it's again, this is about integrating the spiritual blockages. So again, transforming shadow into light, but to manifest your goodness is by being in the passion for life, giving and receiving of love, and to, contribute to humanity again, which is improve the qualities for the benefit of all by, again, whatever you're contributing. And you could be a painter, you could be an artist, you could be a singer, you could be a dancer, you could work in a law firm, you could be a doctor, you could be, doesn't matter, when you're a plumber, you can be a DJ, you can be a clown, doesn't matter, Spirit says. It's that you work on being the best you that you can be, as long as you're passionate about what you love and you extend. It's all about growing yourself strong, inner strength. Nothing moves you from your path to the light because you have complete confidence in yourself. Realize your innate qualities and your abilities, and know that with God you can do anything. All the power that you need is within inside of you, and that's what Spirit says. The fragmentation is believing that you're broken, where there is none. It's like you were stuck in a perception. And that perception was, again, because of the family that you were brought up into, and then the experiences that you both created due to the families that you were both born into. And so the divine says, yes, this connection is a divine connection, but divine doesn't all the time mean be with them, because you have free will. Spirit says, but understand that you would still learn from being with this person. But at this point, even if you chose not to, you still learned. You still integrated the spiritual blockages. Apparently with your twin flame, there's a lot of lessons, and you really do learn what unconditional love is, but it's a really hard relationship, because they are going to trigger every single spiritual block that you have, every trigger that you have. And yes, it's can be like this intense romance, but it's also like there is a fine line between love and hate. So these karmic twin flame connections, they usually don't last forever, because it's almost like too extreme, unless it's like a codependent type connection. A lot of times that when it's too extreme, it doesn't work. It's like one person is too left brain, the other person is too right brain. And only with compromise, which is through unconditional love, do we find balance. And that, like I said, you can do that for a short period of time, but while you're creating yourself, well, a lot of times you got to find your own style. And if you're more of a right brain person, it's just going to be easier to navigate your life. And that's, it is possible you wind up with your twin flame, but understand a lot of times you don't for that particular reason. But as far as now, this person and you are in separation right now because, again, of the spiritual blockages that need to be worked through. I'm going to leave that there. You can let me know how you resonated, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.